Have you ever experienced that moment when your heart wants to move towards someone, but everything seems blocked? You pray, you hope, you make efforts, but despite everything, nothing materializes. It's as if something greater is holding you back, as if an invisible veil is placed between you and the relationship you thought was right for you. Perhaps you're asking yourself, why isn't this working? Why isn't Allah giving me what I want? This feeling of waiting, uncertainty, and sometimes even pain is universal. Many of us seek to understand why certain relationships, even though they seem perfect in our eyes, drift away from us. But what if I told you that Allah, in His wisdom, is intentionally preventing you from taking that step? Not to deprive you, but because He is preparing something better for you. What if this person you're feeling blocked from reaching isn't an obstacle, but rather your true spouse, chosen by Allah? What if these delays, these trials, these invisible walls are merely signs that your story must unfold at the exact moment Allah has decreed? In this video, we'll explore this powerful message. Why Allah sometimes holds you back, why paths seem closed, and how this can be proof that your future partner is already written for you. We'll look at the signs, the spiritual reasons, the value of patience, and how you can transform your waiting into a period of growth. So stay tuned until the end, because what you're about to hear could change the way you perceive your future and soothe your heart as you wait. 1. Understanding divine wisdom in choosing a spouse. To truly understand why some things aren't working out in your love life, you must first remember who Allah is. Allah is Al-Alim, the All-Knowing, and Al-Hakim, the one who always acts wisely. His knowledge has no limits. He knows your past, your present, your future, and even what you don't know about yourself. Where you only see part of the picture, Allah sees the whole picture. When it comes to marriage, nothing is left to chance. The Prophet taught us that every soul already has its sustenance, lifespan, and marriage written in place long before birth. This is part of the Qadr, the divine decree. This means that no matter how hard human efforts may be, no one can take away what Allah has destined for you, and no one can give you what He has not written for you. But then, why these obstacles? Why these relationships that fail? These requests that never materialize? These obstacles that seem to recur? The answer lies in the wisdom of Allah. When Allah closes a door, it's always for a reason. Sometimes it's because the person you desire isn't compatible with your faith, your character, or your spiritual path. You may not see it now, but Allah knows what this marriage would bring you in the long run. Sadness, difficulties, or even a departure from your religion. There are also times when Allah blocks you because He wants to prepare you. Perhaps you are not yet ready to take on the role of husband or wife. Perhaps your future spouse isn't ready either. And through His wisdom, Allah ensures that your paths don't cross too soon, so that each of you arrives at the exact moment when your hearts, souls, and circumstances are aligned. Imagine for a moment, if you had married the person you wanted a few years ago, your marriage might have been filled with conflict, or it might have ended in a painful breakup. But because Allah is Al-Hakim, He protected you from that pain, even if at the time you only saw it as rejection or disappointment. We often see the closing of a door as a loss. In reality, it is a mercy. When Allah says no, it is never to deprive you, but to guide you toward what is best for you. Marriage isn't just a social or emotional union. It is also an act of worship. It is meant to bring you closer to Allah, to give you a life partner who helps you remain steadfast in your faith and grow as a believer. That is why Allah does not leave this choice to chance. Every obstacle, every delay, every rejection is part of His perfect plan. And even if you don't understand today, One day, you will look back and thank Allah for all those closed doors, because they will have led you exactly where you were meant to be, with the person He chose for you. 2. Signs that Allah is protecting you from a bad relationship. It is sometimes difficult to accept that what we desire with all our heart may actually be a trap for our faith or our well-being. But Allah's mercy is also manifested in the obstacles He places between us and certain people. These barriers are not punishments. They are protections. They are signs that you must learn to recognize. 1. The relationship becomes toxic or contrary to Islamic values. One of the first signs that Allah is protecting you is when the relationship you are pursuing pushes you to disobey His commandments. If you notice that you are moving away from prayer, neglecting your worship, or beginning to justify forbidden behaviors to please the other, take this as a warning. Allah says in the Quran, "Do not approach fornication. It is a shameful act and an evil path." Surah 17:32. If a relationship is based on prohibition, deception, unhealthy jealousy, or manipulation, then know that Allah may hold you back from making it official in order to protect yourself. Even if your heart is attached, Allah, in His wisdom, sees that this relationship will not lead you to serenity, but, on the contrary, to ruin. 2. Repeated and constant obstacles. Another clear sign is the repetition of obstacles that prevent the relationship from moving forward. Perhaps families categorically refuse. Perhaps marriage discussions fail for no apparent reason. Perhaps despite sincere attempts, something gets in the way each time. This is not always a coincidence. In Islamic tradition, it is understood that what is destined comes true with ease, and what is not meets with insurmountable difficulties. If everything seems to be falling apart again and again, it may be the hand of Allah preventing you from entering into a relationship that isn't right for you. Sometimes these obstacles arise even after intense efforts. And in these moments, it's important to remember that human will cannot overcome divine will. If Allah has written that this person will not be your husband or wife, then no force on earth can change that decree. 3. Lack of inner peace. Allah describes marriage as a source of peace and comfort. And among His signs is that He created for you mates from among yourselves, that you may find rest in them. Surah 30:21. If instead of finding peace, you constantly feel anxiety, fear, or unexplained unease in the relationship, take this feeling seriously. The believing heart sometimes perceives what the mind cannot explain. Constant worry, lack of confidence, the feeling that something is wrong, are often subtle signals that Allah places in your heart to steer you away from a dangerous path. For true love, blessed by Allah, brings serenity and stability, not turmoil and chaos. 4. The reminder of tawakkul, trust in Allah. Faced with these signs, the natural reaction is frustration. Why is this happening to me? Why is Allah closing this door? But this is where the concept of tawakkul, complete trust in Allah, comes in. Having tawakkul is not just saying, "I believe in Allah." It is also accepting that His choices for you are better than your personal desires. It is understanding that even in delay, even in separation, there is hidden mercy. The Prophet said, "Whatever befell you could not miss you, and what you missed could not befall you." Hadith reported by At-Tirmidhi. In other words, if a person is not meant for you, then no amount of effort can make them yours. And if Allah has reserved a special spouse for you, then no one can deprive you of that union at the appointed time. Indeed, every closed door, every broken relationship, every heartache is perhaps a silent response from Allah. This is not for you, I have something better, wait. And if you can see these signs not as injustice but as protection, you will realize that Allah's hand is always with you, guiding you to your true destiny. 3. When Allah holds you back for your true chosen spouse, sometimes you feel like your life is on hold. You see others moving forward, getting married, starting a family, while you're still waiting. You wonder, why me? Why is Allah making me wait? But what you don't know is that this waiting can be one of Allah's greatest gifts. 1. The tests of patience before. The encounter. Marriage is not just a matter of two hearts meeting. It is a responsibility, a commitment before Allah, a lifelong partnership. And to fulfill this role, you must be prepared. Allah says in the Quran, patience is a virtue whose reward only those who are endowed with a great portion will receive. Surah 41:35. Thus, the test of waiting is no accident. It teaches you patience, trust in Allah, and purifies your intentions. Many people want to marry to fill a void, to imitate others, or simply out of social pressure. But Allah wants your marriage to be built on a solid foundation: faith, sincerity, and maturity. Every prayer you say, every tear you shed, every moment you resist the temptation of a forbidden relationship, these are proofs of your patience. And know that none of it is wasted. Allah sees everything. He hears every supplication, and He knows exactly when the moment will be perfect for you. 2. How Allah prepares two souls to complement each other. Marriage, in Islam, is not just the union of two bodies or two names on a contract. It is the meeting of two souls that must complement each other. Allah says, "They are a garment for you, and you are a garment for them." Surah 2:187. A garment protects, warms, covers flaws, and beautifies. This is exactly what a spouse chosen by Allah is supposed to be. But think for a moment. Were you ready a few years ago to be that garment for someone? Was it the right time to offer your support, your patience, your sincere love? Maybe not. And your future spouse wasn't ready yet either. So Allah works behind the scenes. He shapes you through trials. He teaches you wisdom through disappointments. He purifies your heart through expectations. Meanwhile, He is also preparing your future husband or wife, guiding them, shaping them, correcting their mistakes. Until the day your paths cross, not too soon, not too late, but at exactly the right time. 3. Inspiring testimonies and parables. There are many symbolic stories that illustrate this wisdom. Imagine a person who has prayed for a long time to get married. Every time she thought she'd found the right partner, something broke down. Either the family refused, or discussions failed, or the relationship fell apart on its own. She cried, feeling rejected. But years later, she met a husband who shared her faith, her values, her goals. And at that moment she understood. If the other options had worked, she would never have met the one who was truly made for her. Consider another example. Two people live in different countries, thousands of kilometers apart. They don't know each other, but each is going through challenges. One struggles with her faith, the other with financial difficulties. They grow, they learn. Then one day Allah brings them together in unlikely circumstances. They understand then that every delay, every suffering, every prayer was meant to lead them to one another. These stories are no coincidences. They reflect the reality of the believer's life. Allah writes stories more beautiful than we could have imagined. 4. The role of patience and supplication. When you await your future husband or wife, there are two powerful weapons that every believer must keep at their side: patience, sabr, and supplication, dua. These two spiritual treasures are like two wings that carry you on your journey. One allows you to remain steadfast despite trials, and the other attracts Allah's mercy into your life. 1. Patience, a proof of trust in Allah. Patience is not mere passive waiting. In Islam, sabr is an act of worship. It is the ability to keep your heart calm, to restrain your tongue from excessive complaining, and to continue to trust in Allah, even when you do not understand His plan. The Prophet said, "No one has been given a better and more comprehensive gift than patience," reported by Al-Bukhari and Muslim. This means that if Allah tests you with waiting, it is because He wants to elevate you spiritually. Your patience proves that you believe in Him, that you accept His decree, and that you know that His choice is always better than yours. Every time you feel sad seeing others move forward, but you say in your heart, "Oh Allah, I have entrusted my future to you," you earn an immense reward. Every tear you shed in prayer becomes a testimony to your trust in Him. 2. Supplication, opening the gates of heaven. Marriage is such an important matter that the Prophet taught us to constantly resort to supplication. Dua are not just words recited mechanically. They are sincere appeals, keys that open the doors of divine mercy. Among the most beautiful supplications you can make for your marriage are asking Allah for the best for your faith and your life. "My Lord, grant me in this world what is good, and in the hereafter what is good, and protect me from the punishment of the fire." Surah 201. This supplication encompasses everything: a blessed marriage, a balanced life, and eternal salvation. Asking for a righteous spouse. You can say, "My Lord, grant me a righteous spouse who will be a refreshment to my eyes and a cause to draw me closer to you." For the ideal marriage is one that elevates you spiritually, not just one that satisfies your emotions. Istikhara, prayer of consultation. The Prophet taught his companions the istikhara prayer for every important decision. It consists of asking Allah to guide your choice toward what is good for your religion and your life, and to steer you away from what is bad for you. This practice reminds us that you do not choose solely with your heart or your mind, but with the light that Allah places in your path. 3. Patience and supplication. Finding a balance. Some people fall into two extremes. Either they want to force everything immediately, or they wait and do nothing. The path of the believer is balanced. You must be patient, but you must also act. You must supplicate, but you must also prepare. Patience without supplication can turn into passive resignation, and supplication without patience can turn into frustration. But when you combine the two, you achieve a profound serenity. You ask with faith, you act according to your means. Then you let your heart rest in the certainty that Allah will choose for you what is best. 5. How to prepare yourself for the marriage of your choice. Many people pray and hope to meet their future spouse, but forget an essential step: preparing themselves. For marriage is not only a blessing to be received, it is also a responsibility to be assumed. Before asking Allah for a pious spouse, one must ask oneself, am I ready to be a good spouse? 1. Work on your faith. Iman. The foundation of all preparation is your connection with Allah. The stronger your relationship with your Creator, the stronger your future marriage will be. For a heart nourished by faith becomes capable of sincere love, forgiveness, and patience. This means strengthen your daily prayer, for it is the key to inner peace. Read the Quran regularly so that your worldview is enlightened by divine wisdom. Recite more invocations, not only to ask for a blessed marriage, but also to purify your intentions and strengthen your heart. Remember, you cannot ask Allah for a spouse to help you stay on the right path if you yourself do not make an effort to walk it. 2. Cultivate the qualities of a good husband. The Prophet said, "The best of you is the one who is kind to his wife," reported by At-Tirmidhi. This shows that marriage is not only based on love, but also on character. So ask yourself, am I a patient person, or do I lose my temper quickly? Am I able to listen and respect the opinions of others? Am I generous, kind, and willing to sacrifice my comfort to support my spouse? Being a good husband or wife isn't about being perfect, but it's about being aware of your flaws and working every day to improve. It's about learning to communicate gently, forgiving mistakes, and building a relationship based on mercy and compassion. 3. The importance of sincerity and purity of intention. In everything you do, intention matters more than appearances. If your goal is only to feel a loneliness, to imitate your friends, or to respond to family pressure, then your marriage risks being fragile. But if your intention is to please Allah, to build a pious family, and to seek a life partner who brings you closer to Him, then you will see His blessing descend upon your union. Even before meeting your future husband or wife, ask your heart, why do I want to get married? If the answer is sincere, Allah will make your path easier. Truly, the marriage chosen by Allah is not just a meeting between two people. It is the meeting of two purified hearts, two prepared souls, and two intentions aligned with Him. The more you work on yourself today, the more ready you will be to welcome the person Allah has written for you tomorrow. 6. Common mistakes when waiting for the right partner. Waiting for marriage is a trial that can give rise to many doubts and weaknesses. And often, it's not only external obstacles that hold us back, but also our own mistakes. Here are 3 of the most common, which every believer should avoid. 1. Forcing a relationship. Many people think that by persisting, by trying everything, they will eventually get the person they want. But if Allah hasn't written this union, no amount of effort can make it happen. Forcing a relationship is going against Allah's decree, and it can lead to a lot of suffering. A healthy relationship must be facilitated by Allah, not built through constant struggle. If you find that despite your efforts, everything falls apart again and again, it may be a sign that Allah is telling you this is not your path. 2. Comparing yourself to others. You see your friends or family getting married, having children, building happy homes, and you feel behind. But know that every destiny is unique. Allah did not write for you what He wrote for others. The Prophet said, "Look at those below you and do not look at those above you. This will prevent you from despising the blessings of Allah," reported by Muslim. This means that comparing your life to others only robs you of your inner peace. Your story isn't behind, it's simply written differently. 3. Losing hope and discouragement. Faced with hardship, some end up thinking, maybe I'll never get married. Maybe Allah has forgotten me. But you know that these thoughts are whispers of despair. Allah never forgets His servants. The Quran says, "Do not despair of the mercy of Allah." Surah 39:53. Even if the wait is long, even if you do not yet see a sign, remain certain that Allah is working for you. Despair closes your heart, while hope attracts blessings. In summary, avoid forcing what Allah has not written, do not compare your path to that of others, and never give up hope. For whoever trusts in Allah never loses. He always gains something, whether immediately or at the perfect time chosen by Him. As you listen to everything we've shared, remember one essential truth. Allah knows better than you. You see the present and judge according to your emotions. But Allah knows your past, your future, and what lies behind every choice. Where you see loss, Allah may be offering you protection. Where you see delay, Allah may be preparing your heart to welcome an immense blessing. If someone has walked away from your life, don't think it's by chance. It may be because Allah protected you from a marriage that would have shattered your faith or your happiness. And if Allah has closed the door, it's because He will open a better one. At the perfect time, He has written for you. Don't let waiting fill your heart with sadness. Transform it into worship. Use this time to draw closer to Allah, to grow, to purify your intention. Each day of patience is a seed you plant, and one day Allah will make a beautiful flower bloom in your life. Remember, marriage is not a race. It is not the one who marries the fastest, who is the happiest, but the one who marries at the time written by Allah, with the person who will be a true mercy to him. So remain hopeful, keep in prayer, keep trusting, and remember Allah's promise. And whoever puts his trust in Allah, He will suffice him. Surah 65:3. Your story is not over. It is already written by the hand of the Most Wise, and it will unfold at the perfect time. Remain patient, remain confident, and know that what you await with faith will come to you like a gift wrapped in Allah's mercy.